Hi, I'm John Fitzgerald and welcome to this week's edition of Team WealthBuilders. I want to talk specifically about unemployment, jobs and the change in that market. We had rising unemployment in the month of September, probably one of the first times any significant rise this year. And it's good. How can that be good, John? Well, it's good because when you drill down to the numbers, it was purely isolated to Queensland and the state government there ejecting a lot of bureaucrats, essentially letting 20,000 bureaucrats go. And that's what caused it. So all the other states, except for South Australia, basically stayed the same. Unemployment went from 5.1 to 5.4%. And the talk is, with mining coming off the boil, that it might rise to 5.7, maybe even 5.75%. But these numbers we've got to look at in perspective, because previously they've always overestimated those numbers and it's never been as much as it previously was estimated. You'll remember during the GFC, even the RBA said that unemployment might rise to as much as 7.5%, 8%. We managed to only get to 5.8%. But let's drill down to the numbers, and I'm going to talk about why it's good. Drilling down to the numbers, we see a massive change in employment. Mining's coming off. Not a big deal. Mining only employs 2% of the population. But the real growth is in healthcare and now construction. And that's really significant because now we're getting back to the cities and the places where we own houses. And that's why that's so significant. Healthcare, particularly in Victoria. And I'll talk about Victoria in a minute. Healthcare due to rise over the next 5 years by more than 18%, construction more than 12%. Now, those two industries alone, as well as manufacturing, employ more than 1 in 3 workers in Australia. So keep your eye on those particular posts. Victoria is an interesting one because if you do the long-term stats, Victoria is getting the majority of the overseas migration. Now, we have had a lift in overseas migration in the last 6 months. We're back up to around 220,000+ net a year. And that doesn't include a lot of your students, your short-term accommodation, etc., etc. 220+ natural growth of around 130+. We're back to population growth of 7,000 to 8,000 a week. Now, very, very significant numbers, and we hadn't seen this until until 2009-10. And remember 2009-10, we had that massive upswing in property prices. Why is it good that unemployment might be rising? I'm okay if unemployment gets to 6%. We've had booms when it's been 6%, and the reason is interest rates are going to come down. Now, I've spoken a lot about interest rates, but it is significant and such an important topic because interest rates are at nearly a record low, and the talk is it'll go to 2.5% once in 100 years. Borrowing rate today, you get a loan, a fixed loan at 5.5%, I should say 5.5%, but the forecast is for that to come down. We could be seeing the 4%. Now, the Reserve Bank have said the mining boom or the investment in mining will peak sometime in 2013. Which is a little bit earlier than they thought and a little bit lower than they thought. They're now committed to stimulating the economy. They want to get construction going and certainly manufacturing, healthcare. Need to get the Australian dollar down. So focus on that because it really is important and there's a major turning point in all of these things. And that's why it doesn't worry me with mining maybe cutting off or even governments reducing their bureaucracy and unemployment rising a little bit because it means that we're going to have cheaper interest rates. It means that the Reserve Bank is committed to getting our city industries going again. And they've recognised that the mining boom isn't something that they're going to put a lot of weight on in the next few years. I think that's great for us. Thanks for listening to me.